Our next presentation is on the topic of family trust that has been, let's say, it's tested by technology these days in very strange ways. So Ike, Eric, Annie, and David will talk to us about it, and we'll be ready to take your questions after that.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone.
Thank you.
I'm Annie, and I'm going to share our presentation with you. So, hello, everyone, again. I'm Annie. It's our Ike, Eric, and David. Our topic is location tracking and family trust. Let's see how these two issues are connected with each other. So this is our overview. We have four main parts that we need to discuss today. First of all, we will do introduction to location tracking, what it basically is and how people use that, especially parents. Then we will see how everything like monitoring children, thing that location tracking does, how it was done before the technologies. This is very interesting part to see in the past. And third part is, okay, now we have the technologies, what issues they cause in family trust. And finally, we will try to give solutions to these issues and ways how to regenerate the trust. Okay, so let's see what is location tracking in general. Location tracking is the process of using technology object or device. So this is a wide case, and we narrowed down to a specific about parents and children. So our case, parents using tracking applications to track their children's location. So let's see what parents feel about this. So let's see what they think about this. So first of all, they need something to use, and we did a whole research, and we found the most popular application, which name is Life 360, and this is one of the most popular mobile applications overall in the world. We did some research on their statistics and what we have. So every one family in 10 in the United States uses this application. 38 million monthly active users are present, which is a huge number. And another interesting fact is that average user opens the app 12 times a day, which seems a lot for the application to open it 12 times a day. And another factor that shows how wide this application is that it is present in 144 countries, which is again a huge number for this kind of applications. And here is the code how they advertise their application. With Life 360, you can always stay connected to your loved ones. You will know where they are at the all times and be alerted if they need help. This peace of mind is priceless. So basically, they advertise their function, which is showing others' location, and you can see it 24 hours in a day. So this is what many parents use to track their children's location. We did three-part research to understand why parents use this type of applications for their children. Firstly, we went to parenting blogs and looked at some quotes, parents' opinions and ideas about this phenomenon. Then we did our small survey, and we have some results from there. And lastly, we discussed this problem with a psychologist to see some professional side of this phenomenon again. So let's start from the codes. We summarize this with three main codes that parents feel. So let's read some of them. Parents do that because they love their kids and today is not the safest time to live in. Don't you read the news and everything about daily bad news that they are in media, newspapers, and everywhere. So basically this highlights that this is not safe for children because it's not the safest time to live now. Let's see the second code. The idea of removing the app from the phone makes me feel stressed. So parents feel stressed when don't they have the immediate way to see where children are at that point. So this is emotional trigger that parents have when they don't have the application. And lastly, I love Life 360. Give me a peace of mind when I cannot see, can I see where everyone is at? Again, this is an emotional thing that gives peace to a parent that a children is safe place. So these are the main opinions that parents share on this kind of blogs. And this here you can see our survey that we did. Total responses were 55, and I want to focus on the main two responses that we got. almost 38.5% of parents showed that they use this application for ensuring safety. So this is one of the main reasons why they use that, to ensure that their kid is safe. And the second most popular reason is peace of mind. So here we see two main things that parents want to gain from this location tracking applications: ensure safety and give peace of mind to themselves. So and now let's look at the third part that we did during our research, psychologist part. Here we summarize three main points that our psychologist says. Our psychologist is Ruth Kupeyan, who is a counselor in American University of Armenia, and we discussed this phenomenon with her. So she said that location tracking is obsessive. Even though the stated reason from parents is safety, parents subconsciously does not trust the kid, and the kid feels that. So even though the trust is the reason explained to the kid, for a kid it is that the parent doesn't trust me, and that creates basically the mistrust in their relationship. And second point is that if there is a reason to worry about safety as a parent, you should make time either to be there to make it safe or teach how your kids should be safe. So that's a parent job to either be there for safety or make sure kid can be safe by herself or himself. So, and the last point that summarizes our psychologist's opinion, that if a parent puts enough time and effort in talking and educating the child will voluntarily come and share her or his plans, if she will be late or not, and everything else that location tracking applications do, child can do with the communication with the parent. So basically, our psychologist opinion is that parents should put enough work in educating and communicating with child, so child doesn't feel mistrust and will share everything with the parent. And so we can summarize from our research that parents do this for safety and monitoring child's location. But how it was done by parents in previous year, like in 60s, 70s, how they monitored this, because children were children and parents were parents even at that time. So now Eric will continue and share our research on how parents did monitoring in the past. Eric, the stage is yours.
So thanks, Annie. So before continue our speech about our topic, I want to go back a bit to describe what happens before the technology was invented. So we all lived in that era, so we know that we spent much more time outside, and our parents weren't as concerned as nowadays. So we don't have any applications that controlled us. So we spent a lot of time with our neighbors, and nobody really got scared of what will happen. So this is something what differently changed because of technology. So we can see that before that, so neighborhood was very strong, but we cannot see it nowadays. So and that's why we want to compare that time, because it's very different, and it's very interesting to describe how technology is changing. So so we can see in these pictures, so we describe really show how like the children were engaging with each other in previous times. We were like hanging with each other. We can see the strong connection between them. So this is not what's happening nowadays, in our opinion. And also we have a quote from children who lived in that era, and they say that I lived in a small suburban town. Everyone knew everyone. The parents in homes around our house knew me and my siblings. Everyone was friendly. Every shop owner along the street knew all of us kids. Also, some kids say that only rules were we had to have our homework finished, and we had to stay within shouting distance. So this is interesting. We cannot see it nowadays. So in the past, the connection between children and their parents' trust relationship were very different. And neighborhood offers some great safety for children, and their parents didn't really were afraid about their children. And we also thought about the reason what will how it changed. So one of our ideas is media. So nowadays people received or in the past, people received much less bad news. And so when people do today, so because of fewer information and communication technology, it wasn't that advanced than nowadays. But nowadays, we can clearly see that we gain a lot of bad news from social media, from news, and every day we face something bad, and it controls parents, and they think that it will happen to their children. So we have an examples about the bad news that that we can see on the internet. So, and so here's an example. So, for example, 6-year-old Ethan Pass disappeared. The disappearance and death in 1982 of Adam Walsh, the sons of fugitive hunter John Walsh, and also the killings and a lot of bad news. You engage it every day, and you get less trustful about your neighborhood, even though it's statistically could be invalid, but it programs parents to think that something is wrong with them and their children, but we cannot trust them in terms of in terms of them going out in neighborhood. So I described the past area, and now we're going to deeply describe what happens nowadays. And Haik will continue to speak about it. So Haik, it's your turn.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Ani. So basically, we discussed the outcomes, which is the main problems Ani told today. Then Eric described what was 20 years ago, and now I'm going to talk about what is nowadays and what is the three main factors and what problems we have right now. So first problem is that parents' image of world and false sense of safety because of the track location, invasion of children's privacy, and third one is negative effect on child independence and skills in life, in everyday life. So basically, I'm gonna read this quote because it is very strong, I think. We have this sort of magical thinking that if we know where our loved ones are, we can somehow save them from a dangerous world. The app are marketing to our primal fear of disconnecting from our loved ones. And this was told by David Greenfield, who is a professor and a doctor in psychology. Then this is the main problem is, Ani, can you turn please the slide? The main problem of this false sense of safety is that the tracking location is technically is useless. If the person or children want to get rid of this, they will find any other option. They can turn off their geolocation or just throw their phone somehow or somewhere, like leave it at their friend's house. So technically, if children wants to cheat and lie to his parents, he will lie, and this is creating the false sense of safety in the parents' eyes. So as we can see, we did a research, and which is invasion of children's privacy. And as you can see, we get 42 responses, where you can see the two most popular children's opinion regarding the location tracking are feeling that parents do not trust them, which is 35%, and 33% is violated privacy. Moreover, we did a research on different forums and stuff like this. When you can see when my mother tracking my location, I feel mistrusted. And this is Stacy White, the elder child in family, is telling about this problem. And you can face these problems in everyday life. So basically, we did a research and found that parents who are tracking location of their children, more and more they have more conflicts at home, and basically they have a low trust level, and which will result in a very bad situation, such as they are leaving their phones at their friend's house, as I told before. And every day hundreds of children disappears, and their parents starting to worrying about them. And the second thing is that threatening your child and their privacy can be a very big problem, because you are looking at their privacy like an object. And this is three different quotes by different psychologists, and as you can see, it will result in a big problem, your invasion of privacy of your children. And the third problem is the negative effect on child independence and skills. So basically, this is the worst factor in my opinion, because as you can see, they are always tracking, and children know about that, and they know that any problem in their life, their parents will know about it. Even now, there are some applications which can like track not only location, but you can hear what your child is talking about, or you can see what they are doing by their camera. And like children brains are starting to work in that way, that they are not caring about anything and about any problem, and their social or like critical thinking skills are disappears. Turn the slide, please. And as I told before, like it is a very negative effect, because children need to make different mistakes. They need to trip, fall, and run out of gas to learn something in their life and have some experience, so they can like solve different problems in their everyday future. And as you can see, the same thing is told by psychologists, and this is like the general research about what parents should do or should not do. Turn. Okay.
So thank you guys for introducing everyone to the topic of location tracking, and also speaking about how the monitoring was done in the past by parents, and also addressing the family trust issues that are happening nowadays. And on my part, I would like to speak about our suggestions on how we could re-engineer the trust in the family between a parent and the child. So the first part is that, like, before deciding to use location tracking, parents should understand for themselves if it is really necessary, if it is really needed. So the one way that this can be done is by highlighting places where kids can be alone, and that can worry the parents. So measuring how necessary it is to know the location at those times, and deciding if it is possible danger, or if it is just like parents over worrying or just wanting like a peace of mind. The second step is like honestly explaining why location tracking is needed. So for example, if the school is far away from home and the parents want to see if the child has safely arrived at school or maybe back home from school, while like being late outside. So parents should give rational reasons for using location tracking as a safety mechanism to their children. And the third one is to involve the child in the setup process of the location tracking app. So by allowing the child to be part of this setup process, so both parents and children, they feel safe about this control, and also like showing them how the app works, explaining them how they're going to use it, and address all the questions and answer to the questions that their child might have. And also this scheme is not working only from one side. It's also important to understand what is necessary from the children's side, and to view this to address this issue from the child's perspective. So what is like necessary from a child to do is to check in regularly. So the one way to it is a way to demonstrate responsibility and build trust is to check in regularly with the parents on where they are currently and what they are doing. And also they can text or call parents to let them know that they have arrived safely at their destination, or to regularly update them on any changes of their plans, or if they are going to change the route and go somewhere else. Also, what's important to do from the children's perspective is to seek compromises. So children and parents can work together to find compromises that can address each side's concerns. So for example, the children can agree to share their location during specific times of day, or during specific hours of day. So for example, if it's noon and the child is just going to school, then it's okay not to check on their location. But if it's already like evening and the child is outside, then like they can make this compromise to check in regularly with the parent. And also explain the need for privacy. So children should speak up and they should explain to their parents why they value their privacy and why it's important to have not like full independence, but some degree of independence. This can help parents understand their child's perspective and like be more understanding and receptive to compromise. So thank you very much for your time, for listening to us. And in the next slide, you can see the references, the sources where we found, where we gathered information from.
Thank you very, very much. I think we're done with the slides and we can start the question and answer phase. Anyone will with any questions, please. Yes, Lucas.
Hello, thank you. First of all, congratulations to the team for the very detailed, comprehensive, and 360-degree analysis of the situation. I came into this topic having exactly the same ideas and the same perspective on what is happening regarding tracking from family and the distrust that is involved. Your presentation inspired a new idea in me, and I would like the team's opinion on that. The reason, as I understand it, that parents feel the need to use these tools that we frame as attacking trust does not have to do with changes either in the family or how the parents feel about children, or the mindset or the actions and the activities that children do in their lives. The reason these tools have become, quote unquote, necessary is only because of changes in the environment, in what is happening independent of the actions of either families or children. So how would you think it would go if we reframed the whole interaction through the app instead of as a tool to replace the missing trust, as a shared tool for everybody to just feel more secure that people are actually cognizant of their activities and where they are, and they would be very easily notified in case something is wrong. I would like to add here a personal experience. I mean, I'm a 40-year-old man. I do business in many countries, and in many cases, I find myself visiting a completely new environment. I feel very safe in my ability to counter any kind of attack. Nevertheless, I would feel very good if I had an application in that situation where I visit a new country, where people in my environment would know what's going on with me, and with the press of a button, I could alert them that I need something from them. So instead of saying that the tools attack the trust, how would reframing the issue into a shared tool of security on both sides, not because something is wrong with our relationship or how we feel of each other, just because the environment has changed? Do you think that something like that could work?
I would like to answer this question. Personally, I have the same experience. Last semester, I was in Cyprus, away from my family and alone, and I voluntarily shared my location with my parents and friends in any case of emergency. So I think some people like you and me exist too, that they want to do only for safety, but I generally believe that it depends on a person, on a parent or on a child. So I think the location tracking technologies are not aimed to like make obsessive or any obsession out of parents and children. They aimed for the emergency and safety, but parents should use the application with that goal, not to become obsessive over time, because you know that it's really hard, like, and bad news are everywhere, and it seems that the world is really dangerous. That's why parents use that, and it becomes kind of an obsession. I believe that tools that we have now can be used like for only emergency and safety, but it depends who uses and how uses it. Anything else, guys?
Thank you.
If I may follow up a little bit on this train of thought, if I hear it correctly, is what you're suggesting is that the app has an ultimate purpose, which is safety, but it's misused by parents in a sense of self-feeling of security or control of the child and monitoring, even in if the situation is not, that doesn't have a danger, a safety issue. Okay.
Yes.
So I think a thought comes to mind. If we accept that this is an honest, a trustful relationship and that focuses on the safety issue, should be mutual monitoring and mutual having mutual tracking apps, because I, as a parent, am also at risk in the similar ways that the child is at risk. I can go out there and something can happen, or I go into an accident, I get a heart attack, and I can't, and I'm lying there and I can't go anywhere. So in that sense, shouldn't there be a deal between parents that help the trust mechanism that we both use the app and we both monitor each other?
I totally agree. Personally, I track also my parents' location as they do mine when we're away, even in Armenia. So I think, yeah, that's a really good idea. If a child is the age of using like the devices, phone or anything like with the program, it's really good idea to do both ways. So both feel trusted and there is nothing else between the trust.